As well as being an adventurer, Holly's an award-winning interactive designer. As I mentioned before, if you haven't checked out the e-fly thing out there, it is quite an amazing tool, one of the marvels of modern technology, and yeah, something that if you haven't checked out yet is well worthwhile a look.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just wait. So is there a plug around here as well, mate? Oh, does this computer stay in? Hi everyone, my name's Holly. If the power suddenly cuts out, it's because my computer's not plugged in right now, so hopefully that won't happen. I'm here today to talk about my two most recent adventures, one of which was a world first and the other was a world record. In October 2008, I was the first woman to skydive in front of Mount Everest. And in August 2009, I took part in the world's longest horse race, which was 1,000 kilometres across Mongolia, riding semi-wild Mongolian horses, which I completed in 9 days. So just today I'm going to chat about those adventures, how I started skydiving, and my business, eFly. So I'm going to show you a video which I made shortly after I got my job as a free-fall camera flyer in Taupo in New Zealand, and this video was made for Lonely Planet TV. Has that got the power on now, is it? Oh yeah, sweet, thank you mate. Okay. It all started back in... is there sound, Archie, or do you know? Okay, that video is not going to work so well. You can hear it off the laptop. A cheap second-hand car and a sense of adventure led me to Lake Taupo, New Zealand. A drunken night with my fellow backpackers turned into a hungover tandem skydive. This was an incredible experience, and a life-changing one too. It dawned on me that people were actually getting paid to jump out of aeroplanes. Funnily enough, my careers advisor hadn't mentioned this. I decided this was something I wanted to do every day of the year, and being paid to do it would be a bonus. Learning a new sport is always a challenge, but plummeting to earth at 120 miles per hour is a serious wake-up call. I spent the next 6 months strapping cameras to various parts of my body and throwing myself out of a perfectly good aeroplane, developing my flying and filming skills to a high enough level to be employed as a free-fall camera flyer. Eventually I got my dream job and was the third woman ever in Lake Taupo to be employed as a camera flyer. We're a mixed bunch of like-minded individuals, all pursuing our passion for skydiving. There's adrenaline-thirsty Kiwis, whinge-free Poms, Yanks armed with passports and not afraid to use them, and a dead cool Israeli. Working in this thrill-seeking environment, everything that had once seemed extreme to me as a regular backpacker suddenly seemed extremely normal. My life has been consumed with skydiving. Skydiving is more than a full-time job. It is a lifestyle, where anything seems possible, and indeed it is. I've jumped off bridges with climbing ropes. I hang out regularly with my friends, upside down at 180 miles per hour. I've filmed backpackers jumping with no clothes on. I've jumped out of sky vans, jumped out of helicopters, hot air balloons, jumped at skydiving festivals around the globe, pulled my reserve canopy once in 2,000 jumps, recovered from one bad opening, filmed my mum in freefall, filmed my brother in freefall, and the list goes on. For me, this is what it's all about, turning a dream into a reality and living it in a place I love. Thank you. So, yeah, working in skydiving was, a great job, and getting up in the morning and knowing you're going to go and jump out of aeroplanes all day long is by no means a hardship. When I was working in Taupo, I had the idea that I wanted to build an interactive training tool for students learning to skydive. This idea came about because when I learnt to skydive, my instructor would brief me in the plane on the way up and debrief me on the next plane ride up. And the documentation was fairly limited, so it gave me the idea for an online training tool. But at that time, I didn't have the skills to build this program, so I gave up my skydiving job in New Zealand and went back to the UK and did an interactive media degree to learn how to build this program. So when I arrived at university, it was quite a culture shock going from jumping out of planes every day to suddenly sitting in a classroom with a whole bunch of 18-year-olds. And it took me a while to get my head around that, but because I was so focused on building this program, that kind of kept me going. But I needed a bit of adrenaline in my everyday life, so I joined the rock climbing club, and this has since become quite a passion of mine, and I've done quite a lot of climbing around the world. So for my final year project, I built eFly, and I graduated with an award-winning program and a first-class honours degree. My next challenge was to market eFly to the skydiving industry. So I launched the program that I'd built at the PIA in 2007, and it received a really good response, but at that time it was just a generic program, and I knew that in order for it to appeal to a worldwide skydiving market, it needed to be fully customisable. So I went away and found some investment and rebuilt the whole program 2 years ago, and it launched last February at the PIA. It also had a big response from the military too, and recently it won an award from the e-learning industry, and I was pretty chuffed when I realised that I'd beat Sky and Ford. So it's difficult pioneering a new product, because obviously you don't have a lot to compare yourself to. So eFly's been a lot of hard work and dedication and self-belief in this product. So with all this hard work, I decided I needed an adventure. So when I heard about the Skydive Everest expedition, I realised that was an opportunity I didn't want to miss. I've always wanted to go to the Himalayas, so when I sort of had the opportunity to skydive next to the world's highest mountain, I knew that was an expedition I was going to be going on. So basically we flew up to 29,500 feet in a Pilatus Porter, which had never flown to that altitude before. I'll come back to that in a minute. I pulled my parachute at 18,000 feet and we landed at 12,500 feet. So that in itself was quite bizarre, because obviously that's where I'm normally getting out of an aeroplane, so to be landing at that altitude was quite strange. My parachute was 3 times the size of my normal chute, but landed at the same speed. And obviously the air being much thinner, we had oxygen equipment all the way up.